this, Kayla? The quotes, why are we here today?
Why are we here today, she asked. To make a revolution, they answered. What kind of revolution, she asked. The cultural revolution, they chanted. And how do we make a cultural revolution, she demanded. By destroying the American family, they answered. How do we destroy the American family, she came back. By destroying the American patriarchy, they cried exuberantly. And how do we destroy the American patriarchy, she replied. By taking away his power. And how do we do that? By destroying monogamy, they shouted. How can we destroy monogamy? Their answer left me dumbstruck, breathless, disbelief in my ears. Was I on planet Earth? Who were these people? By promoting promiscuity, eroticism, prostitution, and homosexuality, they rounded.
So, I mean, that's the sister and one of the founders of the National Organization for Women, the preeminent and leading women's organization in the U.S. I mean, it has its genesis in basically attempting to destroy the American family. Also, if you look back at like early feminism, it was incredibly, it was a very rather racist movement. Like they wanted white women to vote. They wanted to secure the vote for just white women.
And some of the most famous feminists, like Margaret Sanger, for example, is a eugenicist. She believes in culling population. And she's also, responsible for family planning. All of the abortions that happen now, she's basically responsible for that. So these people are dark, twisted people, and then this has seeped into our society today, and we don't even realize what we're believing.
Before we go further on that conversation, though, I do want to go around the table. Maybe I should have asked this first. Who here considers themselves a feminist? Starting with Kayla.
I don't think I'm educated enough on the topic, and I just got really overwhelmed with how many loud girls were yelling at me or like shouting around about it.
Okay, that's kind of based.
Yeah, that's good.
What about you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't consider myself feminist, no.
Yes.
To a degree, I believe in gender roles, though.
You believe in gender roles? What are those?
I believe for certain situations, other people might not need it in their life, but for me, I do believe that, with my partner, I expect him to make enough money to take care of me, but I also plan on getting enough money for myself regardless if I have a partner. But I love the idea of him financially taking care of me, even if I have the financial means to take care of myself, because I think that creates an environment where I can be more feminine. I can be more in that feminine role of like cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids. I don't think that fits everybody. I think that's very personal to me. I believe that guys should open the door for me. I believe flowers. Pay
for first dates.
Yeah, but I believe that investment comes back. I think when you're in a relationship, if they're paying for all the dates, my love language is gift giving. So if I'm financially able, that might mean I'll buy him his like dream car, right? It's like great scenario there if like all the finances work out. I don't expect him to financially support me because I'm not able to financially support myself. I expect to have a high paying job. That's my goal. I'm not going to be a stay at home wife, but I think it creates this environment that allows me to be in my feminine.
Okay.
I have a question. Can it go likewise? Like a man can also expect the same thing, like you asking him for the date and you paying first time, and then he can give you you are investing first and then he's giving you like back the same thing.
I wouldn't go on a second date with a guy if he didn't pay the first time.
So
that's a very feminist position of yours, but
would you say that you're a feminist when it suits you?
Not when it suits me, but I believe that women should have the same rights as men. I believe that we should be paid
What rights
the same
are you
amount.
fighting for?
Right now we have the same rights, but the idea of feminism came from a history.
But you said you're a feminist, so that must mean that you're sort of like leaning towards there being more rights given to women. What rights?
It's supporting that there's a continuation that women have the same rights as men and that we get paid the same and stuff like that.
We have the same rights. What's wrong?
I'm not saying that we don't. I'm saying that it's a continuation of support, because the idea of feminism started.
So you're saying there's no need for the movement, but you are still
I think there's
an advocate of the movement.
Well, for me personally, there's not an industry that I'm in that I'm like fighting for this, but I know that there's a lot of feminists that are in a certain industry where they don't feel like they're treated as equally as men, and I support their fight for that equality.
What-
Well, there is though.
what-
I mean,
what
it was
industry?
legislated in the 1960s. There's equal pay, and if you can prove that you're not being paid equally for the same level of seniority, the same work that's being done, you can bring a lawsuit.
Yeah, and we've like moved towards that, but we're still seeing situations where there isn't equal pay, and that's what this great conversation of like talking about
Sure.
your wages, that's starting to happen now.
On the wage thing, really quick, do you think, for example, NBA players, do you think WNBA players should be paid the same as NBA players?
No.
So male
because-
basketball players, female basketball players.
No, strictly because there's a higher view.
Sure,
There's
okay.
more viewers for the NBA, which is a direct translation of, their profit, their funds,
Okay.
the investments. I think that with sports
Sure.
it's a little difficult because it's based on viewers. It's similar to like a TV show.
You two are feminists. Do you think on the NWA versus WNBA, do you think that they should be paid the same?
NWA.
I think that there should be a gross rate calculated per view, and then we should all just base it off that. Like a strict standard for every single viewer online. Like per viewer, you make this amount of money, and I think we should set that for men and women so that it's equal.
Or you
But
could
I-
just look at the profit and just do it according to that, right? Like how much
Yeah.
money they're bringing in.
Exactly, yeah, and
Yep.
then base it off of that. And then
Okay.
Would you say that that's a feminist position?
I think feminism is bringing the idea of men and women equal. So I feel like that's setting an equal standard.
But do you
So
think men
yes.
and women are equal?
I personally do think that they're equal
In what regard?
in almost every regard.
Do you think that women are as strong as men?
Yes, mentally and physically.
Whoa. Wait, before we answer that one, I do want to get everybody's input on that. Are men and women physically the same strength, generally speaking?
No. I mean,
Can
no.
you scoot your mic closer to you? Like,
No.
no.
Yes, I
Scoot
can.
it,
Oh, I
just
can,
scoot
yes,
it.
do that too.
Okay, no?
No.
In terms of like muscle mass and what we're able to acquire?
Strength.
No.
Just
Yeah,
strength.
How much you can lift.
General strength.
No.
Okay.
Typically, no.
Okay.
On the average, no.
Well,
On the average.
On the average.
Yeah.
okay.
They could be, and then there's that like super mother strength,
That's
and then
not
there's
what.
like the
But
strength
no,
of
no,
your
but
vagina.
don't
That's why I
walk.
said typically.
But don't walk back your statement. You said that men and women are equal in mental acuity and strength, physical and of the mind.
Yes.
But I'm a little confused because
On the average, though, your typical woman, she's a 5'5" frame versus a typical man is like what, 5'11", 5'8".
so
right? I don't know.
so
typical
generally
frames.
speaking,
Generally speaking, no. But I'm talking about like strength and like valor and like.
no. But you said
You said
physical
physically
strength.
strong. That's what you said.
Maybe I'm comparing it to myself because I consider myself a pretty physically strong person. So in my aspect,
like-
yes.
No, but we're not.
But
in
even
general, then no. I
Wait,
retract
okay,
my
ask
okay,
statement.
Can I ask a question?
okay.
Like, what if a guy who is like doing exactly the same you were doing, same body, same strength, same everything, and you did the same thing? Do you think that competing, like, you would win?
What are you talking
I
about?
just kind of feel like guys, like, genetically are just born stronger than a girl being born.
Oh, I think she
stronger.
walked it back. I don't
know.
Okay, just I want to try to wrap up on a couple things here, because there's been a few conversational threads that haven't been finished. Really quick, we're going around.
Grid 1 Motorsports
Yeah, thank you, Grid One.
donated
Appreciate it.
$100. Red is right, there is inequality, as women have more rights than men, are harder to fire than men, and have lower hiring requirements than men. Life on easy mode. Men and women are not equal. At all.
Okay. Grid 1, really appreciate it, man. Thank you for that.
If he looks up any of the like major companies you're looking at, the percentage of women and men, the majority is men, and though we're working towards making it equal, that is just false. Because if it was easier to hire women, or women were more inclined to be hired, then that percentage wouldn't be the case.
Well, I mean, one thing that occurs to me, what is the primary motive of a business? What is the purpose of a business?
Profit.
To make money, right?
Yeah.
So if it was actually true that you could hire women and pay your workforce, let's say a company of 10,000 people, you could pay your workforce and save 20%, 30% on salary. Wouldn't the companies just hire women if it was actually true that you could just pay women less?
But for these large corporations that are governed and run by men, men
Are
even,
they?
Yeah.
They're
Sure,
not
we have.
governed. They're all governed by women. Look at the HR department.
The HR departments, hiring
If
departments.
you're talking about current day, we're also talking about equal pay.
Why,
Okay.
when you say equal though, why do you think it needs to be equal?
In terms of like your professional life, it should be equal.
You think that there should be the exact same amount of men and women in the exact same amount of positions getting the exact same pay?
I don't think a company should be based like trying to get the numbers 50-50. I think it should be based on your resume, your experience.
And
I
that's
think
why
that
women get paid less.
because we have less
Because women
experience.
they generally are less qualified.
How's that?
Well, because women have to take time out for maternity leave, right?
A lot of women, that's after they get hired.
Yeah, I know, but okay. So they have to take time out for maternity leave, and there's like men are willing to
There's
work
also
a lot harder
paternity
as well.
leave.
Men are willing to work a lot longer hours. Like, if a man works a lot longer hours, then he's going to get paid more, especially in sales jobs, etc. Do you think that's a factor?
Oh, well, where are you saying that women won't work those hours?
Well, it's a fact. Men work longer hours than women. And also they have different interests as well. I mean, men will tend to go into STEM fields, and STEM fields pay more, whereas women tend to go to pink jobs. They tend to go to childcare, like
You're,
those sorts
you're
of
talking
things.
about the facts, not the coulds. That women could do those things. We could be there, but
But they
Well,
won't because
I
they're less
typically
in-
find
they're
that
less
there's
inclined to
more
it.
women in my STEM field classes than men, personally.
Yeah, but it's
as-
classes. But you look into the workplace, and then they're absolutely dominated by men because men are more interested in things, and women are more interested in
Like
people.
what? That I don't think that's true because
It's
current
a
day,
fact.
the majority of my friends are into banking, investing, economics.
Look at
mathematics.
you look at the industry. These industries are dominated by men.
Can I look
And
it
these
up?
are also industries where you have to work really hard until you're 30, 35 to start making money. Women tend to take time out because they go and take maternity leave and they want to have children because they're smart and they realize that what's more important in life. Whereas
So-
men will work their asses off 80 hours a week until they're 40 years old.
Maternity
to
leave
get
is
to the top
about
of-
3 months.
Do you think that there's a lot of women who exit the workforce or who are at least very disadvantaged by it?
No.
Who do you think's more interested in STEM fields, men or women? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
I think that there's a mix.
You think that it's equal?
Yeah.
You can pull it up,
Yeah, I
Nick. Go
looked
ahead.
it up too.
2/3 of those employed in STEM occupations were men. About 1/3, 35% were women. So, I mean, do you think it's like this thing of supposedly men making more money than women? Is that due to? You think that's due to sexism?
Historically,
Burns donated $200.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Wage gap doesn't exist. Men typically work higher paying jobs, more hours, and typically ask for raises more often.
I mean, there's like various factors that go into this. When you start, if you just compare all the money that men make and all the money that women make, it's not a wage gap, it's an earnings gap. But if you start narrowing it down to, okay, well, this career field, here's the hours worked. Like, for example, men work, if you look at all men versus all women, men work more hours than women do.
okay, let's talk about a job that isn't hourly.
Yeah, but like
Okay.
it doesn't matter if they're hourly because if you're working at a career and you're a man who's just say in a science job, right? And you're working 80 hours a week compared to a woman who's working 60 hours a week, then you're going to get ahead faster. And if you stay at that company for 10 years and you really get ahead, then you're going to be on a lot better money than a woman who's had to go and leave the job for a while, do maternity leave, come back, leave, come back, and is also interested in different things as well.
And historically, through a comparison of people that work the same hours that had the same position, there was a wage gap. There was historically. And that's like feminism has existed through years, but the argument is, am I a feminist? Yes, because it took feminism to get us to the point where we are now, to get that equal
Do you
pay.
realize how different the job availability was 100 years ago?
But that
like,
doesn't
do you
excuse
realize
the
that-
fact that
but-
women and men got paid differently for doing the same job for the same hours.
But here's the thing, like equal pay, feminism can really only, when it comes to workforce participation, can really only exist when there are comfortable air-conditioned office jobs. You didn't hear feminists in the fucking 1800s saying, I want to go into the coal mines and get black lung. Because for the longest period of human history, most jobs were like extremely physically laborious.
But also that's still true today though. If you look around today,
Yes.
the highest echelons of earners are all men because, like we said before, But then the lowest as well, all of the most difficult jobs, the ice road truckers, like you said, the coal miners. Whenever you go to foreign countries and you see people digging ditches on the side of the road, it's never women. And I don't see you guys fighting for those positions.
We have videos.
Sure, but
Wait. I'm sorry. I have to play a video related to that. Nick, can you play those? I want you to maybe mute the audio, but it's the ship videos. Can you pull that up? Yeah. Really, before you do that, we were going around the table, I think, asking everyone, are you a feminist?
I would say somewhat, yes.
Are you a feminist?
Feminist, like I say, I don't have the equal rights, same thing. I'm not.
Okay. Do you have it, Nick?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, play it.
It's kind of weird with the full screen. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, okay. I don't know what's going on there. So this is okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's a oil rig or something out in the sea. All right, that's a guy jumping between two ships. I don't know if he's gonna go weld something. Okay, there's a dude jumping out of a helicopter in the ocean. Yep. Okay. Oh, that looks fun. Oh, that looks like a good time. Just sinking in 50-foot waves. No big deal. So if you had to wager, what the percentage is like between men and women who occupy the jobs that are, the jobs on that ship, what would you wager is the gender breakdown there?
99% are male.
It's probably male. I mean, so we should probably analyze, aside from just the money that people make, we should analyze other sorts of gaps, right? So there's dangerous job gaps, for example. There's, men are more likely to die on the job gap. Men are more likely to be electrocuted to death gap. Men are more likely to be crushed to death gap. Men are more likely to drown to death gap. Do you know what delta P is? Delta P. So this often happens with like underwater divers. When there's a pressure differential, if there's enough pressure, there's pipes, right? And if there's there's different ways this can occur, but basically you can get like sucked into a pipe and just basically your body can be imploded in like half a millisecond. I think the gender gap there is pretty significant. More likely to work outside in the heat or cold gap. More likely to work undesirable, disgusting, and dirty jobs gap.
More likely to die at war.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of gaps. Are those gaps due to sexism against men?
Well, I think all this whole conversation of feminism and sexism is based on history. In history, there were those gender roles where the men went to war, the men worked those hard jobs, the women stayed home.
Still do. Mm-hmm.
Right, sure. But the reason that women started going to school, learning to read, started even working as teachers and going to law school and all that was because of one feminist.
No, it wasn't.
Then what was it?
No, it wasn't. Well, it was a series of women who did it. And most women at the time didn't want to vote.
I don't mean one individual person. I rescind that. But it was a group of feminists that pushed for women.
Most women didn't want it. Most women didn't want the vote.
But feminism
they didn't want the 19th Amendment.
Is allowing, it's moving towards equality. It's allowing people to do what they please. So it's saying that if a woman wanted to get educated, that she was allowed to go get educated, the same as a man. It's not denying her the opportunity.
So you're saying that women can't get educated?
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Well, what's interesting about the education argument is since the 1980s, more women have been going to college. That's 40 years now. Is it due to sexism, or is there like this misandry against men in society now? Because I'm at UCSB, I suspect the breakdown is it's 60-40. 60% women, 40% men. Is UCSB, the school you guys go to, is it a deeply sexist institution because it's the 20% more women going to that? That's not equal.
Well, I don't think equal opportunity necessarily means that everything that we see is 50-50. There are some schools that accept more men than women. There are some schools that
actually no. Globally and certainly in the U.S., there's at almost any institution, the women outnumber the men.
But you just said equal, though. That's what you said, equality for women. That's what feminism's all about.
It's giving them the same opportunities.
But they have the same opportunities.
Now they do,
And in many
yeah.
cases, they far exceed it.
But I'm talking about.
Do you think that maybe your brain is a little bit poisoned by the fact that, like, a lot of women just complain a lot about this, when actually they've got a pretty good lot in life?
I'm not saying our life is bad. I'm explaining that I'm a feminist because I supported all the work that it took to get here.
To get where?
To get to equal rights.
So you
didn't
do
always
think
have
you
it.
have equal rights?
Yeah.
Right.
That was never my argument. My argument, you guys were
But
asking
you
me
would,
why am I a
but you were
feminist?
literally just saying that you want women to be 50-50 in corporate jobs. Do you think that now that we've told you this, do you think that that's kind of a ridiculous position?
I didn't say that I want women to be 50-50 in corporate jobs. I was talking about how in corporate positions you said that men have these interests. They have more interest
Yes.
in these manly things.
Yes.
Investing, this and this. And I'm saying, I'm seeing a change in that. I'm seeing that the majority of the women I know are looking into STEM or looking into that times are changing, and that feminism means that we have the opportunity to
But if you look at
pursue
all
those
of the,
interests.
if you look at like the literature on this in terms of behavioral psychology, women are biologically more interested in people, whilst men are biologically more interested in things.
Okay.
Women are more nurturing, whereas men are more inclined to be protectors and providers.
Sure.
So we're going to go into those more high-paying jobs. And that's why throughout history, that's how it's been.
But feminism is about women that want to pursue the same careers as men having those opportunities, because we didn't always have those opportunities.
Can I ask, like Brian just showed you a bunch of videos of men out on oil rigs and getting smashed about by waves.
Okay.
Do you think that it's kind of ridiculous that there's a movement of women saying that they want 50-50 and equal treatment in the top air-conditioned corporate offices when men are out here literally dying at work every single day?
But those men also have a decision. They chose to apply to those
Yeah,
jobs.
and women don't want to go near it with a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
That's their decision.
Also,
Sure, but feminism is about allowing those decisions.
Feminism is about getting what you want when it's
Preferential
convenient
treatment.
for you. It's preferential treatment. It's about usurping men. When it really at the bottom rungs, they'll never ever go for those positions.
I
to
disagree.
for the first game, correct?
Loose
hold on,
Pussy
hold on,
Energy
I'll come back to
donated
that.
$100.
Oh my God, bro.
These softy feminist asses would not last 2 seconds in these extremely physical, dirty, tough jobs. Get your equal pay asses in a sewer, oil rig, coal mine. No? Yeah, I thought so. Fuck out of here.
Oh wow, okay. LPE coming in with some.
Pussy work.
Huh? Loose pussy energy is like the response to small dick energy, I guess. Anyways,